bee is pollinating flower. I'm not going to disturb him because he's doing his sin. He's going to bring the pollen back to the hive and he's going to make it into honey. And did you know what bee it is? It's the worker bee. Don't disturb him. Wow, he's doing his thing. Amazing. We need bees.
Hey guys, it's Monday, August 3rd. Time for another garden update, and hopefully we can get it done before the storm rolls in. Quite a bit has happened in the last week. We ended up harvesting our garden peas. Plants were starting to fall over. It's usually a good sign that they're done. We harvested 8 pounds of peas, and most of those were frozen. They freeze really well, so no problem if we have an excessive amount of peas. We also ended up harvesting the broccoli, which is quite a bit earlier than we did last year. With the warm weather that we had a couple weeks where, you know, it was plus 30 degrees, and broccoli really don't like the heat. So all the heads were starting to flower, and so nothing really you can do. So we harvested it. What did we ended up getting? We ended up harvesting 12 pounds of broccoli, about 20 heads, and there are a few plants that didn't quite develop. There was one head that was too far gone by the time we decided to pull it all out. But as you can see, the heads weren't as uniform. Last year we had really large uniform heads on the broccoli, but again, because of the heat, they really didn't grow that well. But still, not a bad harvest for the broccoli. In terms of the rest of the garden, the tomatoes are ripening up. We've started harvesting the beans, and everything is really producing quite well. So let's take a quick look and see how everything's going. Alright, so we'll just do a quick walkthrough, and I have the totals to date of what we've harvested so far in the garden. We are keeping a diligent record this year just to see how everything does. Slicing cucumbers are doing really well. This is probably the best year for cucumbers that I've ever had. So far we've taken 30 cucumbers off these plants for a grand total of 15 pounds. And if you can do a trellis in your garden, I highly recommend it. It makes things so much easier, and basically anywhere you look on this trellis, there are many more cucumbers, slicing cucumbers, ready to come off. I don't know what's going on this year, but tons of slicing cucumbers growing up the trellis. I'm curious to see how high they get by the end of the year. Pickling cucumbers, we've harvested a few times for a total of 7 pounds so far. Ooh, we missed one. That one's a little big now. We've done about 5 1 liter jars of pickles, and yeah, turned out really well. The corn is probably about 3 or 4 days away from harvest. The cobs are starting to angle away from the stalks and fattening up quite a bit, so we'll be taking them out probably at the latest by the end of next week. Our one honeydew is doing well, and the cantaloupe is also doing very well and close to harvest. As always, the zucchini plants are going crazy. We've harvested 22 zucchini for a total of 16 pounds so far, and if you look, there are a few very large zucchinis still to take. Haven't harvested any eggplants yet, but plant is is producing quite a few. I'm not sure how many butternut squashes are in this, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have a better year than last year. Peppers are producing again. We harvested last week. Lots of bell peppers coming. We've had a little bit of cold weather recently, which has not been good for the habanero pepper. I'm not sure that we're going to get anything, but we'll see what happens. So this is what's left after the broccoli harvest. We still have one plant that's got a head that we have to take, and then this plant is just starting to develop its head. I'm not sure why it was delayed, but we leave the plants in to see if we get any side shoots that show up. Pepper's doing well. Every plant is basically loaded with either the sweet shepherds, jalapenos, there's some bell peppers back here, and of course the banana peppers, but all starting to ripen up slowly. And even though, you know, these plants don't have quite long enough season to get really tall and reach their full potential, they do still end up producing quite a few peppers. Tomatoes doing well, starting to ripen up. You can look closely. We've started to take them, and basically everything's slowly ripening up. Dill has come back after we harvested quite a bit of it for our first pickles. A couple heads of lettuce left from the first round, and the second round of lettuce is in there. Our one watermelon doing quite well. Hopefully a couple more form on this watermelon vine. It looks like it's doing quite well. And the onions doing all right. Some of them have fallen over, but we'll leave them, let them bulb up, and see what happens. Did a little cleanup on the strawberry bed, removed all the runners, and you can see that plants are now putting out another round of strawberries. Kids come out here every day and look for berries that are ready. Pull the leaves back, you'll find some that are almost ripe. Yes, lots of strawberries coming. And blueberries slowly ripening up. And like I said, we have started harvesting the beans. I always find that the yellow ones tend to develop first. They seem to be the first ones up the post. And then the greens follow shortly after, but we've been taking them. The second round of snap peas looks like it will be ready for harvest in plenty of time before the winter sets in. Everything seems to be quite early this year. Again, this is the first time, if these do actually produce pods, this will be the first time that I've successfully put in a second round of peas. Spaghetti squash are not doing as well as last year. Again, last year we had well over 100 pounds of spaghetti squash. This year they do seem to have been hit rather early with powdery mildew. We sprayed them and treated it. We'll see what happens. But there are a few spaghetti squash set. Our latest one is there. Pumpkin plant doing well. A couple of leaves got some powdery mildew, but we do have a pumpkin set. So first pumpkin out of the garden this year. Lots of firsts this year. And the beets, again, starting to get pretty big. These are the tube beets, supposed to be higher yielding than the globe-shaped beets. Yeah, looking forward to pickling a bunch of these. Kale and Swiss chard doing well. The other first that we have this year is our first, what looks like a pretty decent head of cauliflower. Now this one's about the right size. I'll be wrapping it shortly, which basically means to tie up the outer leaves so that it maintains its white color. So a lot of these are actually producing cauliflower heads. There's another one right there. Again, he's about the right size that you want to wrap up the outer leaves. And cabbage doing well. Savoy cabbage doing well. Still got a ways to go before the harvest. Alright guys, that's about it for this week. Beginning of August, the last really good growing month that we get up here. September's not too bad, but if the plants don't get most of the way developed by August, you don't have much chance of getting anything. That being said, we've had a lot of plants work this year that don't normally do very well in our climate. Lots of firsts. First cauliflower, first honeydew, first cantaloupe, first watermelon. So lots to look forward to. Oh yeah, first eggplants. So yeah, lots to look forward to this year. Seems to be a really good year for our garden. So happy about that. Anyway, see you next week.
No, I'm just gonna put this flower in my there's a flower, blue.